What's up, everybody? And Minute Man, I am woken up, man. We're always running late. We get to chatting behind the scenes and forget that we actually have a show to do, folks. So that was kind of fun. Let me say hello to some of you folks. I'll bring up my guests here in a second. I'm going to try to run through this quick, so we can bring up our guests and then they're not sitting back there, getting uncomfortable and whatnot. So what's up, Harvey Black, Angela? Good to see you. On my way, Snake Bite. Miguel Boricua's in the house. Michelle, good to see you as well. Mama Bear J15, Van City Prepper, Quest Conquest. Andrew, good to hear that. I'm so glad things are working out in your favor, brother. That's all we can do is pray. But that's good to hear, friend. What's up, Barbara? Who else do we got? Stuart. Let me see. South Florida DCL, TN Prepping Lady. Jan is in the house. Good to see all you awesome mods here tonight. JT, what's up? AW, Little Miss Prepper. Who else do we got? I'm trying to scroll fast. Dragonwood is up, my friend. Good to see you. I don't want to miss anybody, but you know how it goes. We're kind of, it's late, you know me. We want to get started. Mark's Adventure, what's up, my friend? Let me see. McBean's in the house. I'm just kind of scrolling really quick. Marilyn, I see you as well. Who else do we have? I'm scrolling really fast. Kim, I see you. Thanks for being here. Sharon. Let me see. Colleen, Dale, JRC, if I didn't get you. Daisy, how you doing this evening? Party Prepper. I'm glad you made it into the Discord. West Tennessee Prep. Yeah, I have merch, all right. Oh, man, that's hilarious. Classic there. All right, I'm trying to scroll really fast now. If I do miss any of you, I do apologize, but I want to get this started. Minute Man, I know I got you. Raka, Southern Bell Teacher, Jeff Riffle, good to see you, my friend. Anyways, without further ado, let's bring up the stars of the show, Billy and D.
Hello, everybody. Well, I was going to say good evening, but it's good night for you all.
Good night, good evening.
It is the evening, man. It's it's 10:30 Eastern Standard. You know, it's funny to say that. And I see Andrew, Bonnie, Deborah, Freaky Geek, Raptor, Minute Man, or I already said Minute Man, you're getting too much whatchamacallit in tonight. Debbie, Doctor, and a few other folks in there in chat. But when you texted me that thing, I thought you were just pulling my leg about the time. And then Yarn Prepper hits me up on Instagram, and then Harvey Black is saying this, and I'm like, what's going on? I figured it out. I blamed it on YouTube. It wasn't YouTube's fault. It was my fault.
Oh, okay.
I got a new laptop because I'm going to be doing when I move to the new house, I need a portable studio. I need to move around a little bit because I'm going to have different stuff in different places. So I want to have this laptop. So I bought this really high-end thing, and it was set to some other time zone. So when I set up the stream, it used that time zone instead of my time zone, and all hell broke loose.
Yeah. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
All right, so folks, anybody who doesn't know Frontier Preppers, which you should know, we're trying to get Frontier Preppers. They made it to 4K, but we're trying to get them to 5K now. So if you haven't subscribed, check their channel out. I guarantee to like it. Billy does a lot of interesting things, and Billy and Dee do their live streams. Really good stuff. But let me stop rambling and let them kind of speak on their channel a little bit. So go ahead.
All right, everybody. So hi, my name is Billy. The one next to me, half asleep, is Mrs. D.
Most of you know us.
Most of you hopefully know us. Probably you guys know that we are in Alaska. I was born in Cuba, born and raised in Cuba. Mrs. D is Cuban descendant. Most of the time I get punched for that.
Because it's accurate.
But 16 years I live in Cuba. I was born and raised in there. I experienced the full-blown of communism. I was there when the Soviet Union actually collapsed. So I was there throughout that special period.
Wow.
Where there was no gas, no food. People got really skinny during that time. And during that time, Castro went to the podium and said, well, if we have to eat grass, we will eat grass. I think we all ate grass but him, but
yeah,
here we are. So that's pretty much who we are. Go on.
I don't know what to say other than that. We talk a lot about Billy's experience in Cuba, but we try to share our life here in Alaska and our journey to homesteading and prepping. So that's a lot of on the channel as well. But yeah, I don't know.
It's intriguing to see how you guys progress, you know, from Billy coming from Cuba to landing in Florida, then working your way to Alaska to this homestead, to being neighbors to Rudy and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool stuff. I guess it was kind of nice to run into someone that has the same mindset that you guys have, right off bat. I don't know how long you guys were up there before you ran into him and became friends or whatnot.
You know,
God, that was what, less than a year?
Actually less than a year. Yeah, we were like here like maybe 7 months. And we came across at Walmart.
We were turning a corner at Walmart, and we're like, he looks familiar.
Yeah, and I was like, I actually spoke to him in Spanish, and he actually got thrown back. Yeah. He's like, what? And I was like, so what's that? What's going on? And here's the thing, he might not remember this, but Mrs. D, the first thing she did, she made him a flan. Ever since then, that's it.
Oh my. See, that we need to figure out how to freeze dry flan. We got to figure out how to do that, man.
Oh,
especially Cuban flan, because there's different varieties of ways of making it and whatnot. But man, God, that reminds me of my grandmother and the way she used to make that stuff. Good stuff, man. Fattening, but good. All right, yeah. So Billy, one of the main reasons I wanted to have you bring you back on the show, and I've been watching some of your content, of course, and you've experienced communism firsthand. A lot of us that have been born here, I'm a Cuban descendant as well. My parents, they came from Cuba and whatnot, so I didn't experience communism myself. I heard stories, but so I didn't live it. I was born down in the Key West. I was close to Cuba, but not close enough per se. But we've been seeing so much, happen in our country as of late. Everything from, from the attack on the Constitution, the attack on the Supreme Court, the crime rates, and just everything, attack on the Second Amendment. And I'm assuming when you came to the United States, you were like, United States, that's where freedom is. You know what I mean? That's where you have the capability to do what you want to do in life, and you're only stifled by yourself. How do you, when you look at things that are happening in the world today, like what comes across your mindset? You know what I mean? Like, is it a scary fact that you see our current political administration kind of moving towards that communist type regime?
It is, and it's very scary because I see myself losing another country yet again. I got here when I was 16, 1996 to be more specific. From 1996 to 2022, the changes, I mean, you can literally cut them with a knife. You can see them. Boomsticks restrictions, more and more every single day. The Supreme Court came out with a ruling, and the first thing they say, no, let's go and do protests in front of the Supreme Court's houses, although it's illegal. Well, who cares, right? Because they can break the law. In Cuba, it's the same thing. Politicians can get away with everything. I mean, there's only two main politicians, so there was during my time, Fidel and Raul. But they got away with everything. Generals got away with everything. Anything in the military, anybody in the military got away with anything. I mean, when I mean anything, I mean anything. In fact, our stories in there, the parents actually hit their daughters if the military were going to pass by because they see a pretty daughter. Well, without going in details, they will call for their daughters. So those things, they happen. Here, the current administration, they don't care whether or not you are in a good position. They don't care whether or not you are feeding your family. They just don't. They care about their agenda, and anything else is irrelevant to them. I mean, we went through 2 years of complete lockdown. They destroyed businesses left and right. They didn't care. Same thing happened in Cuba. Businesses cannot be owned by private individuals because the government will come and shut them down. They don't want people to be wealthy because, well, that's what socialism is, equality for everybody, which is a big lie. It's not equality for everybody because those in the government get everything, but it's equality for everybody else underneath, which is poverty. A doctor gets paid 400 pesos a month. The equivalent of that is $20. Now, we can go on and on and on, but truthfully, what I am seeing is very scary. And the most scary part is more and more of the young generations do believe that socialism is okay.
Mhm.
I mean, I talk to a lot of people on a daily basis. I really do. My job requires me to talk to a lot of people. And they believe that no, equality, it have to be equal for everybody. We have to have a utopia. And I think back, because I read a lot of history books,
Mhm.
and I think back and I'm like, that's how socialism starts, with that idea of, oh, it's all equal for everybody. We're going to share everything. But that is not the truth, because socialism is just one step away from communism. And well, we know what happened during regime. I mean, people perish, and I know quite a few who actually perish. In my family, a few actually perish, and we have a lot of political prisoners in my family just because of that. I didn't get to that point because my grandfather was fearful for my life and called my dad and was like, "You need to get him out of here, or he will not make it."
Not end well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. I talked to my aunt this week, and she said, "Oh, how are things over there? Because here, there's no power. We don't have generators or gas to hook up a fan. It's extremely hot, and either there is nothing on the shelf, or the prices are so high that we can't buy anything because we don't have money to buy anything with." And she's like, "How are things over there?" And I'm like, I was just thinking, I'm like, well, that's pretty much describes how things are here, except for the whole power thing. You know, I mean, we're lucky enough to still have supplies to some degree, but it takes a little longer to get stuff, or we're seeing the shelves a little bit more bare. And so I see the slippery slope of it in terms of similarities, and it's kind of scary.
And the most scary part, to tell the truth, is this notion of we don't need a Second Amendment anymore. The first thing that Castro did was took away all the boomsticks. And there is a famous quote, and you guys can Google it if you want. And he flat out said, "Boomsticks, what for? To fight the same people that you guys put in power? You don't need none of that." I mean, you can literally Google it. And he's holding one, but yet he's telling you you can't have it. And our government is telling you, you shouldn't have that, but I'm holding mine. And I'm being protected by one. I mean, every time that I see that, and Rudy can attest for this, because he comes here all the time, and he always like, "For the love of God, how many more you need?" One more.
You know,
Yeah.
it's funny you say that because we're seeing, you know, attacks left and right in regards to our Second Amendment, and I think that's the only thing that's keeping us as free as we are now is the right to bear arms. A lot of other countries that don't have that right, you know, we can look at Australia and some of the other countries that have had that right removed. Their politicians and stuff like that kind of bulldoze any ideas or concepts that they come up with. You know what I mean? It's either their way or the highway kind of situation, you know?
Mhm. I mean, we have Canada literally, what, 300 miles away from us?
Oh, I don't know.
Um, I don't even know what that dude is, whether it's a president, whether it's a prime minister. I don't even know what he is,
What his title is.
what his title is.
That's how much you pay attention.
That's how much I get aggravated every time that I see those type of things. But he did come out and say, well, Canadians do not have a right to bear arms. And technically he is right. But what infuriates me is, even if you don't have it, don't give it up. You know, essentially, these people are going to make you a criminal, whether you like it or not, because they have their own agenda. Now, I'd rather be, me personally, rather be a criminal than a slave, because I was already a slave once. I ain't putting those shackles again, not willingly. That's, at least that's my mindset.
It's I'm trying to look up something. Let me see here. And this is the funny thing, and you and I both know this, and I'm pretty sure most of the viewers as well, is that the only people that gun laws affect are law-abiding citizens. It will never affect the criminals. 100%.
No, that is a reality. In fact, it's funny that you mentioned that. I had a person actually making an argument and saying, well, you want everybody with boomsticks, hanging around. And I said, I do, because an armed society is a polite society. Would you want this to be the Wild West? And I said, hold on. And I look at statistics and I looked it up and I was like, here's the Wild West, because you think Hollywood is the truth, and it's not. There were 160 shootouts from, I think it was 1840 to 1860. And I said, that happens in one of our states in a year. What are you talking about? So yeah, it's just those type of things. I mean, here in Alaska, we do have constitutional carry. Everybody open carries all the time.
Right.
Everybody respect each other because they know the consequences of, assaulting somebody else. And truthfully, I feel safer when I'm walking in Home Depot and I see somebody open carry. I'm like, all right. If I don't have my piece with me, and I usually do have my piece with me, I'm like, well, at least I know somebody who's going to deter anybody who wants to cause me harm. Because if you open carry and you are law-abiding citizen, 9 out of 10, you will protect your fellow human beings. That's what I had noticed in my entire life.
Agreed, 100%, brother. I'm going to throw this up because I keep on getting emails and I see it in chat real fast. So I'm going to bring this up. So folks are aware, but this only affects Amazon, folks. Just so you know, it's not, you can still go to, I'm going to bring it up so you guys can see it too. So Amazon will be removing Mylar bags because they're saying it's drug paraphernalia. There's a whole spiel on it. I think everybody you can Google Amazon's removing Mylar bags, and it's right down here. You can see where it says Amazon is linked to the drug and paraphernalia. So they think that Mylar bags are used for drugs. This is their excuse that they're using to remove this from their platform by August 5th. So if you want Mylar bags through Amazon, of course, you're going to want to buy as many as you can if that's what you prefer to do. But you will still be able to go to, let's say, you'll be able to go to Wallaby and stuff like that directly and order Mylar bags. So they're not going away like they're going to be illegal in the United States or nothing like that, but you will not be able to purchase Mylar bags from Amazon unless they're clear or colored or something like that. But that doesn't do us, the preppers, any purpose. And it could be an underlying attack on what we do in food storage. I don't know the gist of it. I just know I've been getting a lot of information on that. I don't know if you guys want your take on that, but I figured I'd bring it up because I keep on seeing it pop up in chat and emails and Discord and stuff like that.
I wasn't aware of that.
I was not aware of that, but the only thing that I can say is they're catching up that that's what preppers use to store away food. And I mean, everything that you see here, that's food. That's full of food in here.
We really don't use a lot of.
We don't use really a lot of Mylar bags. I went a different route, but let me put it like this. Let me put it to perspective. And I like giving examples and whatnot.
All right.
What good is a boomstick if you don't have freedom seeds?
Agreed.
So if you don't have something to preserve your food for 5-10 years and whatnot, then what good is that food? And Mylar bags are one of those things that we use all the time. Mm-hmm. So just saying.
Stock up and stock up now.
Stock up as much as you can. I mean,
and that's the honest best thing to do is to stock up as much. And this is why a lot of us have been doing this for a long time. We stock up on stuff like that. Like I don't have any. I have a pressure canner, and I have stacks and stacks of jars, lids, and all kinds of stuff. I haven't even started canning yet because I'm waiting to move. But I still prep it because I know I'm going to need it for food preservation and storage. Just like I'm looking at Mylar bags over here. I know I see 30 of them just sitting over there, the large Wallaby bags. But yeah, so folks, you always want to be in the know and pay attention to some of this information out there. I know some other channels. I think it was a homesteading channel that might have broke this information, but it's been out since July 5th. I haven't brought it up yet because I was trying to dig into it and look a little bit more into it, but basically they're using the excuse that drug paraphernalia. I don't know anybody who's going to use a 5-gallon Mylar bag to sell drugs. You know, maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what kids do nowadays.
I know, right?
Right. I didn't even think about it from that aspect, but yeah, who knows what kids do these days.
Yeah.
Let me see. What route did you go instead of Mylar? I'm out. Let me see. Oh, Yarn said, what route did you go instead of Mylar? I'm out and debating.
All right. So I went without the Mylars because I live in a very cold environment. So dry goods like rice and all of those in there are rice. No, beans. Those are beans. Rice. On the other side is the rice. But essentially, what I did is I left it outside an entire winter, and it's really dry in here. The cold is not wet.
Humidity is way lower.
Way low. And I put it directly into the food grade buckets. Now they are food grade buckets. In Florida, I didn't do it like that because Florida is very humid. Florida, I use Mylar bags and buckets or half a gallon mason jars.
Yeah, we dry can a lot.
We dry can a lot. But thus far, I had never had a problem. I mean, we rotate them all the time, and we have, I think it's like 3, maybe 4 years worth of rice and beans and such. Maybe more. I don't even know anymore.
You went a little overboard on the rice and beans.
I did went a little overboard. Yeah.
To me, there's never, people always ask me, like, do you think that's enough? And my answer is no, it's never enough.
Never enough.
No. Go ahead.
I was going to say, just an FYI, we do have, an all-star in the house. And I'm assuming you folks know who that is.
He said buenas noches already.
All right. But go ahead, Billy.
The mindset of we never have enough. I was talking and I think he's in chat, Josh from Little Alaska Home Place. And he asked me, how much freedom seeds you think is enough? And my answer, and I hopefully it wasn't vague, but it was around this. How much do you think is enough for you? And what caliber is your main caliber? To me, I use a 308 pretty much. So to me, I need to have at least 5K of 308. Now, I also have 5.56 and all of that good stuff. But 308 for me is my number one. Grab and go because, well, I have large animals. I use it for protection. I use it for hunting, for everything. But my advice to everybody is we can have a lot of fun toys, but at least get one that you have enough to feel comfortable. The moment that I don't feel comfortable with 5K, well, I need to get 6, 7 into I'm comfortable.
So look at your lifestyle and what works for your family, like what you need more of that you maybe use or eat more of and store that.
And how much you practice too. That was another thing that I mentioned to him. How much time do you go to how many times you go to the shooting range and how much, you send down the range. That's very important because training is key. If you don't train, there's no reason for you to have a boomstick because you're not going to be proficient with it. So
it's funny you say that. Now we were both kind of running behind. I was going to tell you yesterday because I was working on a video, and then a friend of mine said, "Hey, you want to go do some playing around?" And I said, "Sure." Playing around, with the boomsticks. He says, "But I want you to dress in full kit." Chest plate, my plate carrier, battle belt, all that battle rattle, all that stuff like that. And he says, okay. And he said, we're going to go to a new place. And I'm like, okay. So we drive an hour south of me to this ranch, basically. And man, we're sitting there running and gunning, as I call it, and dropping down. It's almost like doing burpees, brother. And I just realized how out of shape and how winded I was doing that. And I told myself, okay, starting this week, I have to start training a little bit harder than I used to. You know what I mean? It's something that you don't expect because, every day I'm not, putting on my kit on and going out and walking around. You know what I mean? I would probably draw some attention, especially in the society that we live in currently. Because I rock steel plates. Everybody has their preference. I rock steel plates with, the anti Spalding and whatnot on there and stuff like that. It's heavy, but I'm a big guy, so I can do it to me, it's not a big deal. Some people like to run ceramics, you know. I also run a what they call it. Some people call it a swimmer's cut. Some people call it they call it all different types of things where it comes here and then it has like a thing, so I can still get my you're right in there. But man, I tell you one thing, man, it was a wake up call because I haven't done that in a while, you know. And it goes to exactly what you're saying. If you're gonna buy the stuff, you need to train with the stuff and be proficient in whatever you're using.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you don't need a paperweight. You don't need it to. I mean, I have many hanging around in the walls and whatnot, but those are my pretty babies. But the one that I use, the one that I take with me, and it's a variation of an M1A.
I watched that video.
Well, you saw, and of course you saw Mrs. D training too, and Last training too, and that's something else that I encourage everybody to do. Start your kids as soon as possible. It is never too early to start. Last has been a year and a half.
Oh God, less
than that.
I mean, like for real, probably, yeah.
Yeah, he was a year and a half old, and he was already. I was holding him, and he was getting the feel for it. Now he gets PS90, and he's like, "All right, I'm going at it."
Nice.
Yeah.
Harvey, yeah, I got snake bite. That's awesome. And snake bite, I did pause your question here. I just wanted to finish up the pew pew talk real fast before I answered your question, because before I brought your question up, I did pause it on the screen here. So anything else has happened since then, I have no clue what's happening in chat. But Snakebite wanted to know, he says, how do you store your bounty during the hunting and fishing season, being that you'll be going fishing here tomorrow?
All right. So we have several seasons in here. I mean, caribou starts on August 10th. Fishing is running right now. Pinks and silver are running right now where we're going. Basically, what I do is I take my vacuum sealer, and when I go over there, I get everything, I fillet everything, I vacuum seal the fillets, and I freeze them. And I bring 2 coolers, one big one just for the field, and another one just to keep inside the place that I'm staying at, so I can put it with ice and whatnot and maintain it that way. Now, some folks will say, well, just bring everything. Well, guess what? It's 20 fur per day, and those fish are big.
Yeah.
And Billy's old and tired, and I want just the meat, because there's a lot of fish in there. I mean, you're snagging this time around. You just go there to snag fish,
right?
Now, predominantly what we do is we freeze them. We have freezers. I mean, you can see one here. This is for moose. There's another one over there that's for fish only, and there's another one inside the house that's just, whatever we have, sausages and all that good stuff. We do can quite a bit. Whatever's left over from the year before, and we do have quite a bit left over from last year, we do gonna can that, so that is put away. Now, like I said before, this is a very cold environment, so I just have to put those babies outside and 40 below, and I don't have to power anything. They will stay fresh. And because when I bring them back, they are vacuum sealed already, because that's what I do. I vacuum seal them. I really don't go through a lot of trouble when I get home, because when I get home, I am beat up. I mean, we're talking about, it was one time a day that I spent 8 hours casting. My elbow got swollen. I mean, I was like, D was like, for the love of God, stop. I was like, not until I'm done.
But yeah, we it helps to process while we're there, and then just bring them ready to go, put in the freezer, or can them when we get here.
Yeah,
nice.
And moose is a little different. And moose is in September. By that time, the temperatures are a little cold already. If we get lucky and we harvest a moose, we can hang it. We do have game bags, large game bags, and we can hang it outside. And during that time, what I do is I start processing everything. I bag everything. I make the sausage. Little Alaska Home Place is here. He tried the sausage already, and apparently he didn't like it. So I'm messing around. I think he did like it. But that's what we do. We do sausage, we do ground meat, all of those good things, and we try to stay away from buying at the store if we can harvest ourselves. We are going to try it again this year, caribou. Hopefully we get lucky. Hopefully black bears, when we go fishing, we take our boomsticks, because this is grizzly country. I mean, we have to have a mini boomstick with us. I mean, we have seen grizzlies.
They're literally right there where we fish.
Right next to us. Yeah. And you got to be careful. But if we see black bears open season all year long. Well, as long as you don't take it down, when you are on the road, you step off the road, you aim, you drop it, and you harvest it. That's why I take 2 coolers every time that I go fishing.
I mean, good point. I mean, that's a good way to be prepared,
Absolutely.
I saw, I think was it you, Wink, that said you needed a Viking woman size plate carrier. They make them. I'm a big dude, folks. And they make big plate carriers. You know what I mean? Just make sure if you get it, you know how to use it, how to get it fitted, and all that stuff like that. Because at first, when people get stuff like that, it can be a little bit intimidating if they never use like that. A lot of people who are like myself that are prior service got to experiment with that back in the day. Things have changed a lot, and the science behind it has changed a lot because of mobility and stuff like that. But you'll be surprised. They can come in super handy, because it's one of those things that hopefully you'll never need it. Hopefully you'll never need it. Yeah. Matter of fact, I had someone in Discord. She might be in chat too. I'm not going to call her out, but it's not negative or anything like that. She asked me, she said, "Hey, Grey, after watching Rudy's video," because when Rudy dropped that video on his Patreon, it was quite intriguing. I had a few phone calls. People reach out to me in regards to it, like, "Hey, I saw Rudy's video. What do you think?" And then I went into my perspective and stuff like that with, Gideon and that whole stuff like that. It was very intriguing. And she said, "Should I get a pew pew?" And I said, "Absolutely. You should always," I said, not even just for yourself, but for the protection of your family, your loved ones, or anybody that might be in danger, that might be in that situation. But definitely everyone in this country should own a firearm that's legally allowed to. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Absolutely. Unlike me, before I came here, I didn't have any rights. Let me just put it like this. And I'm not going to talk ill about law enforcement or anything like that. I'm just going to give you facts of what happened in the island. A policeman or a policewoman will stop you. And if you have a bag with rice or meat, they will ask you for a receipt. What do you bought it? Let me see your, what is that called? La libreta. I don't know how to say that. The ration book. Let me see whether or not they put it in the ration book. If it's not, well, if you got meat, red meat, beef, you go to jail.
Wow.
That's just it. Now, he or she may be nice, and this is being nice now, and they will tell you, yeah, this is no longer yours. They will take it, and they will keep him. And there's absolutely nothing you can do. Same people, they get called and say, well, Billy and family are talking ill about the government, which is 100% illegal. You cannot talk ill about the government in Cuba. They will break your door. They will beat you. And there is absolutely nothing you can do. So that pew pew deters people from doing that, whether it's private or our own government.
That's insane. And D, you were saying something earlier about you spoke to folks. I'm assuming they're in Cuba still, right?
Yes.
It's not only food. I have some relatives as well that I don't talk to as much as I can. They're very poor, which you would assume a lot of folks are in Cuba, and they said their access to medicine has been severely restricted. A lot of the pharmacies are empty. They're having to use third-party black market or donations from other countries just to get medicine. Simple stuff like ibuprofen and aspirin. It's insane.
They don't have anything. The common phone call that we get here is, how do you doing? You doing okay? Hey,
such and
such and
sick.
such
Can you send this?
is very sick. Can you send antibiotics? Can you send this medicine? Can you send aspirin? They don't even have aspirin. And now you're like, all right, so let me scratch my head. Let's see, what can I do? How can I send this to you? Because there are cases that if they don't get that medicine, they won't make it. And there have been people that haven't make it because they don't have the medicine. But yet they tell you the socialism is good and that the medicine in Cuba is the best. Well, there are good doctors. However, there's no medicine.
Yeah.
So
and what do the doctors get paid there?
400 pesos, which is $20.
Insane, folks. Insane. Yeah. I guess we have a new candidate running for president for 2024. I don't know if you guys see that there or not. So if you guys want, we can start putting together. We can start working on Rudy's, what do they call it? Campaign.
You
just
know,
write him into the ballot.
That he put in there, we always joke around every time that he comes home, have some cafecito. He's like, yeah, everybody's going to have one and free pass.
If we can only get some sort of a politician in government or in the presidential position that would be so kind, to abide by our Constitution, because even some of the previous presidents, even Republicans, there's Republican presidents that have went against the grain, and like here, I think here in Florida, we had Rick Scott, and he put some gun laws into place.
Oh God.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys
left.
Rick Scott,
yeah,
not good.
So DeSantis is way better. You know what I mean? Someone came into my shop today and they know I'm a fan of my governor here in Florida. That's funny. I have to find my escalator so I can announce my candidacy right on Rudy. But she's like, DeSantis is not going to be governor anymore. And I'm like, why do you say that? She said, I forget who's running against them, but I said, I guess she wants to legalize marijuana in Florida. So she said, just because she wants to legalize marijuana in Florida, she's going to beat DeSantis. I said, I wanted to say, are you stupid? But I was trying to be polite. You know what I mean? Sure, there's people that want that, but the percentage of the population that want to be free versus, access to, we have it medically here now, but they want to push it for recreational, And I just don't think that's the big push. That would be the deciding factor here in Florida for DeSantis to be removed from office and someone else to take his place at that point. It's crazy the way people think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the Floridians, maybe they like, we don't want freedom. We just want to be in La La Land. You know what I mean?
It's funny. Florida prior to the 80s was an open carry state. And well, things happened in the 80s and then, no, not anymore. And there are cases that you can open carry. I mean, I still have my concealed carry license from Florida, believe it or not. So not even the law enforcement know the law when it comes to pew laws in Florida, because I had several actually one time saying you can't open carry. I'm like, really? I'm full camo. I'm going hunting. You said, are you for reals? So yeah, and I'm saying that because yes, you can open carry in Florida when you going hunting, when you going fishing, when you going from to those places, or you're going to a shooting range. That is 100% legal. A lot of folks actually just go around with a fishing rod and walk in, and there you go. You see, and it's 100% legal.
I have my little collapsible fishing rod that's always next to my AR-15.
Yeah.
I think it's great. And I also I print out the law if anybody ever questions it, so I can say, here you go. I also have the my Constitution book with certain things highlighted, so I could say, if you're not educated, Mr. Officer, I'm friends with a lot of law enforcement. You know what I mean? I have good friends, and they say, unfortunately, to in Florida, to go through the police academy and whatnot, you get basic knowledge. And as soon as they think, oh, that's a civilian, they have a firearm, something's up. That's the immediate thought most of the time. But then you have, of course, me. If I ever have any issues, I'm always like, okay, I need to speak to your sergeant. That's the first thing I say. Nothing against you, buddy, but unless you want a civil case against you and stuff like that, it's best that you get someone to come here and have a conversation with. They've only had it happen once or twice, because most of the time, once I show them that there's paperwork in law, they're like, oh, okay, my bad. Because they're not even supposed to, if you have a concealed weapons permit, they're not even supposed to separate you from your firearm.
No.
So, and that happens a lot here in Florida as well.
They do. The first thing they say, for your safety and my safety, let me have the firearm so I can secure it. That's the first thing they tell you. I mean, my encounters with law enforcement has been plenty, and I always end out telling them how well educated they are. Someone tells me all the time, you need to keep your mouth shut for once.
Yes, please.
It's funny you say that. My wife tells me that, but I said, hun, I said, that's why I went to college. She's like, because I got a criminal justice degree, and I don't use it for anything else other than to know the law. That's why I went to college, just to get this degree. I think I did it back in 07 or 08. I just went back to college to get a criminal justice degree because I wanted to know the law. You know what I mean? I'm no attorney or nothing like that, but I have a better understanding of the law by getting that degree. I get bored sometimes and do weird stuff like that.
Yeah. Usually what I tell D is like, you can't fix dumb unless you teach them. So
that was actually my minor in undergrad, was criminal justice.
Really nice. I was a couple credits away from getting my forensic science degree, but I was a little low on funds at the time. I don't know. I put that up because John Purpose said, how are you able to travel to another country as a minor? I guess when you were 16 to come from Cuba to Florida.
I came here to be reunited with my father. My father was here. So they put you on a plane. And
just like they do minors traveling now, you get put with a flight attendant, pretty much. But it's a family reunification process.
And the funny thing is that back then there was no direct flight from Cuba to the U.S., so you have to go through Cancun to Mexico, and then we're there like 3 or 4 hours.
To catch another flight.
They had a couple of drinks. People in Mexico don't care. And then I jumped to Miami.
I'm sitting here thinking about a question. A lot of people, here it seems like things have been at a slow burn and things are starting to pick up, going into a SHTF. I think we're in a form of SHTF right now with everything that's happening in the globe. Like I said, if you watch Rudy's video, if you listen to the farmers, if you listen to some of the economists and stuff like that, things are getting really bad. In Cuba, before Fidel took over, and I forget the person that was in power before him. Okay, things were a little bit better, right?
Yes. In fact, Batista, although he was not like Fidel, but he actually restricted the population quite a bit. There was a lot of fraud when it came to elections, but he was working like right there with the U.S. The U.S. and Cuba were one, actually. They actually want to open casinos in Cuba, all of those good things. So economy-wise, yes, it was not bad. But he got away with a lot of stuff too, and people were happy.
And we see that happen a lot. And I don't know if you know, and I'm assuming that you do, or at least had the stories to tell, is once Fidel took over, how fast did things just go like full on SHTF? Everybody was just, their rights were all gone and they were in this predicament that they are in, or were in. I know it
took about 3 years.
3 years total?
To my grandfather, it took about 3 years when he took over. He couldn't took over as a president because he didn't have the age and he had to abide by the Constitution of Cuba at the time. So he waited a little bit, and then once he finally took over, he increased the military. He started to collect the boomsticks. He started to go around the farmers, if you will, with a lot of land, and well, confiscating the land and saying, that's too much for you. No, this is not yours anymore. Now this is the property of the government, and the government will give it away to other people. Well, what that happened is he killed all the industries, the sugar industry. In fact, the Fanjuls, the owners of U.S. Sugar, not U.S. Sugar, Florida Crystal, which is in Florida, for those of you who don't know, they came after that. They have to sold. They sold the sugar mills because, well, not sold, but it was taken from them. So they came to Florida, and with their knowledge, and they brought money with them. Well, now they have Florida Crystal, so they restarted all over again. But it took a little bit. It didn't happen from one day to another. It took a little bit, and of course, when the Soviet Union collapsed, well, it took even a turn for the even worse. I mean, you're going from bad to even worse. That's now full-blown SHTF, like bad. We're talking about no gas. People were giving bicycles at work if they didn't miss a day, if they were good boys, if you will. If they wouldn't go on vacation, they would give them a bicycle, which they still had to pay for it, but at least they will get a bicycle. And the funny thing is, during that time, well, the police will stop you and ask you for the property of the bicycle, a bicycle. And if you don't have that paper for that bicycle, they will take it away from you, because that bicycle was given to you. They give you the right to buy it from the government, and yet we're still not yours, because if you sold it, they will take it away from the person who actually bought that bicycle. So, yeah.
I was trying to find an article that was in my Discord about something about trying to get all the farmers to sell all their land to the government or something like that. I can't remember where that article was. Better late than never, Libby. And thank you all, everyone that's joined us this evening. I truly appreciate it. I know I haven't said hi to everybody, but hello. My apologies. Just trying to focus in on my guests and stuff like that. And I'm trying to field some questions here and there as it pops up. But I wish I had that article to show you guys what the government's doing. But then I'm kind of following back into, like I said, that's why I put Rudy's video inside my community tab for folks that just may not have caught it. Because the more of us spreading that information, the better. Like I said, I think Rudy said there's going to be a part 2 to it as well. But a lot of things that you're saying it's kind of correlates to what they have planned. You know what I mean? You will own nothing and be happy per se, right? Not really happy, but you will own nothing and like it kind of situation. You'll have to rent things. You won't own your house. You won't own your land. You won't own anything. And they can take it away at a moment's notice. If you're a naughty person.
Yes. Rudy did a video a while ago, and in that video he went into the US, whether or not we have enough for us, it will still send out our products. I mean, whatever we harvest to other countries. And let me tell you something. I never knew that strawberries were grown in Cuba until I was like 14. When they sent us to the town is called Santa Amelia, and I saw fields and fields and fields of strawberry. I never saw, and I didn't know what a strawberry looked like. They don't sell that to the public.
Yeah,
that's not something to the public. And I was like, what is that? Oh, that's strawberry. We grow strawberry? Yeah, but that's not for you. That's to send outside. That's to export.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I like strawberry too. I want to try. I mean, I see it in the movies. I want to try. Yeah.
It's funny you say that, because people tell me like, well, I live here and I see wheat everywhere. And I said, that wheat's not ours. I said, we're growing it,
Mhm.
but this current administration has contracts with other countries. Regardless if the American people are suffering or not, they're going to ship it off just like they're doing with the oil, shipping that out. I mean, we saw that break.
Yeah.
It's funny because when I go to the grocery store, for instance, I go to the fresh fish counter. You know, maybe I don't want to go to the fish market today. I'm trying to grab a couple salmon steaks. So I go there and it says never frozen, fresh caught. But then I look and it says Chile, or it'll say somewhere else. And I'm like, how does that make sense? So fresh caught, but from Chile. So someone in Chile just caught this fish and they shipped it over here that fast. Why can't I get a piece of salmon from Alaska at the store?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's crazy when you look at blueberry, like you said, blueberries and all the other stuff like that. It's always product of somewhere else. Sometimes I'll get lucky and I will find some stuff from California and some other spots that grow certain fruits and vegetables. But a lot of the stuff that we see that we consume are from other countries. And the problem I have with that, specifically, let's say I wanted, in Florida, we just get our own shrimp. It's just easy to get our own shrimp here. But the frozen shrimp at most of your places are from places that they farm it. And we don't have any idea what kind of chemicals and stuff like that they have in that water. So my concern is eating stuff from other countries that don't follow the same regulations. I know people are going to say, well, you know, the FDA regulates that, but do we really trust the FDA?
I don't.
Yeah.
So let me give you an example. I love avocados. I mean, who doesn't, right?
So does Rudy.
Yeah. But how many times you buy avocados from the U.S.? And I can tell you right now that there are farms in Homestead, farms, big farms, they grow avocado. And yet we never have it. Guavas, same thing. There are farms. In fact, I know personally people with farms of guavas in Homestead. They're not sold in here.
You don't see them at the stores.
So
no, you don't.
What's going on in here? How come we cannot be self-sufficient?
Because they don't want you to be self-sufficient.
Of course not. Of course not.
Yeah.
Imagine being a citizen of a country. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, B. Walker. It's crazy. It is crazy. It's if things continue to go the direction that they're going, that's what I feel is going to happen. It's you'll see a farm down the street growing some fresh oranges, but you'll never get one of them. You know?
No. And the one thing that worries me the most, and this conversation I actually had it today. I was mentioning, I'm going fishing. I'm going for a full week, and this person told me flat out, why? I was like, well, because I got to get fish for my family for winter is coming. But the market is there. Isn't it easier for you to go buy it? And I was like, well, if I do that, then what am I teaching last? Why am I supposed to buy it at the store when I can do that myself? And what that led me to realize is people are becoming more and more lazy every day, and they want things to be handled to them instead of doing the work. And
well, they've been trained for that for years. I mean, think about it. When you go off to college as a brand spanking 17, 18-year-old, what are they first shoving down your throat? Credit cards. You're in debt from go. You're dependent on the system. But, that's what they teach.
But that is a really mindset, because it's not if, it's when an SHDF happen, all of those people are going to be in a world of hurting big time. Because if there's no market, then they don't know what to do. They don't know how to get food. I heard that today, and I was like, oh man, this is going to be so bad.
I think that's what's helped, like, for me, especially, like, not have so much anxiety when I see everything going on, is because, okay, I know we have our preps. Like, we're okay. We're not where I want to be, but we're going to be okay because we prep, because we prepare, because we have the different mindset that, thank God, we're not running with the pack. So
yeah, and it's hard to go against the grain sometimes. In fact,
it is. People don't get it.
Most of the times I'm like, why do I need to go against the grain? But at the same time, I'm like, nope, I'm gonna do it. this ain't Cuba. You ain't gonna do that again to me. I don't care what happens. So
I'm sitting there thinking, I'm trying to think of a question to ask you that people always ask me. And people always ask, like, do you ever think America will be attacked? Do you ever think what would be the catalyst for the United States to do something to its own people and other stuff like that? And my assumption and what I usually come with is that most countries probably will not directly attack the United States because of its citizens, its armed citizens, you know? And so my biggest, I won't say fear, but my assumption is if they ever were capable to take out our grid, because without electricity, most people will perish, most likely, no matter where you at in the land, you know, be it if you're freezing or you're sweating to death. Most people are not prepared for life without electricity. Even the whole system relies on electricity in the aspect of when you go to pump gas, it's an electrical system that pumps that gas up, and then that's how you get it in your vehicle, and so on and so forth. So where I'm leading into is if they can take out the grids, be it they want to blame it on the Russians or they want to blame it on Iran or North Korea, whoever that they want to blame it on, right? If they were to do it themselves, I'm just speculating. But then that would create a chaotic situation amongst us, we the people, because there's going to be that element out there and people are going to be slaughtering each other, thinning the herd per se. Then it would make it a lot easier for either an outside entity or our own elites to move in on the people and change the way things are, you know, without having to destroy the Constitution, you know, by political agendas and whatnot like that. If that makes any sense to you guys.
yeah, it does. You know, the more that I see every single day, the biggest thing that I fear is our own government, to tell you the truth. We can have something coming from outside, but we are well armed. And I think that every American will gather together and fight the common enemy. But we are getting attacked from within. And it's like a virus. And it keeps eating away our freedoms, and it keeps destroying us. Our essence, our families are being destroyed. We can't even go to a school anymore and, you know, raise our concerns because now we put in a list. So that's my biggest fear, and it is my biggest fear because I already went through this, and I see it happening all over again. And like I said at the beginning of this interview, I don't want to lose another country. I mean, this one opened their arms and they're like, "All right, Billy, come on, I'm gonna take you and like do everything that you want." And thus far, I've been really successful here. So I don't want to lose another country. I lost one already. I don't want to lose another one.
And I agree, brother. There's a lot of folks that have immigrated to this country that don't want to see that happen because a lot of people tried to escape certain situations like yourself, or, you know, like yourself and other folks out there. And people always ask me, why do I feel that way? And I said, because if I see a hurricane, right? A hurricane arrives and people are in lines, or even something simple as a Christmas holiday like Black Friday, you know, people are fighting, almost killing each other for an Xbox. So my thoughts, if they didn't have access to power, gas, water, food, things like that, how would they act at that point, you know? To me, it would just be, people would lose their minds to that aspect. And almost anybody that I don't know, that's not a friend, would probably be an enemy at that point, just because it would be hard to trust anybody because they want what you have.
Absolutely. I don't know if you know this, but in Cuba, it's very common for the power to go out for 8, 10 hours, 12 hours, sometimes even 24 hours. When that happens, people don't leave their houses, not because they're afraid, but because if they leave their house, well, if they come back, there's going to be nothing in there.
Yeah.
They will get robbed
Yeah.
because that's what people do. The power goes out. Well, you can't see me. You can't see me. You don't know who I am now. So I'm going to rob you. Here is going to be even worse.
It already is.
Yeah.
It already
And that's a scary thought. I just watched. Maybe some folks haven't heard about this because they don't live in Florida. But the happiest place on earth, there was literally two families brawling it out because someone forgot their phone and wanted to cut back in line, so they wanted to brawl it out at the happiest place on earth, aka Disney World.
Wow.
Two families just beating the crap of each other in front of children all over the place in strollers, because someone left their phone and they wanted to get back in line and they got into an argument. And these people, this group of folks, this family waited outside the ride till they got off, and they decided to just brawl it out there in Disney World in front of the world to see. It's insane, folks.
It is.
And then they call us a civilized society, you know?
You know, I always have a problem with that because I say we are a civilized society. We are a democracy. And I always go back to like, we are a republic. This is not a democracy. This is a republic. And we are so civilized that we go elsewhere and we annihilate people left and right because, well, we need that oil. But it's okay. It's okay. We can do that because we are civilized. These are the same people who are calling out. We don't need a Second Amendment anymore. You know, your First Amendment needs to be restricted a little bit. And who cares if they come into your house and just go in without a search warrant? Who cares? And usually my answer is like, "Are you sure you're American? Because you sound communist." Yeah, but they sure do enjoy the dollar. That's for sure.
I agree, Os. I agree. And that's usually my thought process too, is the people that want to embrace socialism. Why don't they go to a place like that and live there for several years and see how it plays out? You know?
Yeah.
It's yeah, right, Sue. But that's the thing is people don't understand the freedoms that they have. I think that's not taught in schools anymore. So they don't have any value for that flag, that value for our Constitution and what it means to have the freedoms that they have currently. You know what I mean? It's just they just wake up one day and like, it's America. I can do whatever I want, blah, blah, blah. They don't understand all the sacrifices that people have made to make it what it is today. And it's slowly taking that away. And I just don't think they see it, you know? Every new law that's put in place that restricts our freedoms is another, to me, an attack on what our forefathers had set forth for this country. And it's truly 100%.
Yeah. There's a lot of folks think they deserve the rights, and usually I have a huge problem with the word deserve. Huge problem. In fact, the other day, Laz said something. For those of you who don't know, my son's name is Laz. He's only 8 years old. And he said, "I deserve," and I almost pop him. I said, "No. You do not deserve anything, son. You earn things. Deserve, not in this family. It ain't gonna happen. No. But they think that they deserve all the rights under the sky just because they were born here. Well, guess what? You were born with it, but you have to fight to keep them. I value those freedoms so much because I was born without it, and I know what it is to be without them. So I don't want to give it away. I would never give an inch, no matter what. And I proved that 2 years ago when if you didn't get that, well, they were going to fire you. And I said, do what you want. I don't care. I don't care. There's nothing you can do that Castro didn't do to me already. I don't care. So I stood my ground. He did the same.
Yeah. I was thinking, like you were saying, they don't teach history anymore. You know, history is offensive. So these kids have no clue, you know, the history of this country and why things are the way they are and why they should fight for their freedoms. Because they just think it's an outright, I was born with it.
It's a lot better to take down a statue because it offends me. Well, guess what? That's the history of your country. If you take down the history of your country, what do you have left? Whatever you want to make in your mind to be? I mean, Come on,
fantasy.
Fantasy, exactly.
Yeah.
And
Right.
this is the world that we live in, which is really sad.
It's when you wake up in the morning and if you're awake per se, you know what I mean,
Mhm.
to what's going on, and you see the attack on our constitution, the attack on the food supply, you know, the all these various attacks on what makes this country what it is. It's truly a scary situation, and it's our future moving forward is very unsettling. I know a lot of folks are hoping that, you know, here in November, the Republicans take back the House and things are going to change. And I'm like, I don't think it's going to be as glorious as they say it is. I'm pretty sure that the way things are looking, they probably will take back the House. But all the damage has been done over the last 18 months and longer. Our country has a long history of all kinds of other issues, but uh, usually stuff like that takes years and years and years to fix. To fix our economy, to bring back all the manufacturing plants back to the United States, to bring back chip making, to bring back bring back the oil and all this, and to get everything running, it takes years. And that's if the proper people are in place to let it happen. But I don't think they want to do that. I don't think they
Yeah,
want to do that.
folks needs to realize the taking down a house might take you 30 minutes, but building a house will take you months.
Mm.
So that's what we're seeing here. They have destroyed our country. So to rebuild it back again, to bring all of that industry back in here, get that manufacturer going, train those people, it's going to take years and years, and the right folks in power, the right leaders, not somebody who is shaking his hand at the air. I mean, maybe he's seeing ghosts, maybe he's seeing dead people. I don't know.
I agree. There, even our military is under fire. The folks I know, the recruiters here say recruitment is at an all-time low. People are, since the June 30th thing popped off, where if you didn't get this thing, they're giving you your walking papers, they're cutting your pay, they're doing a lot of bad stuff to those folks. So our military is like shrinking. You know what I mean? And there's a limited amount of people in there, so it's like we're being attacked from every facet of what we are, and that's what, like I said, it's just unbelievable that it's happening in America.
Yeah.
But folks, we are,
and unfortunately, I just don't see anything changing, to tell you the truth. Hopefully, I'm fingers crossed, but
yeah,
and that's what we're doing. We're here to prepare in case things don't change. If they change, guess what? We have a lot of rice and beans that we can eat, and we can make steaks all day long. I'm good with that. But if not, hey, we have it.
Yeah.
wouldn't it be great to do a live stream, Billy? And we're sitting here, man, we're just, everything is great. I'm wealthy. Everything is moving smooth. I got all this food. Life's grand. I would love to do a live stream like that.
I mean, what better live stream than showing you a steak? Look what I did today. Oh my God, I can't eat this no more. But yeah, unfortunately, it's not the case.
Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyways, folks, we're a little bit over an hour. It's Billy's still early. It's early over there where he's at. It's getting late for myself. Basically, I want to thank everybody for being here and joining us. And if you haven't went over to Billy's channel and check them out, Billy and Dee's channel. Sorry, I don't want to leave D out.
Okay.
And check out Frontier Preppers. If you'd like to hear more from them and their perspective and life in Alaska, and Billy will get a little political sometimes, like myself, which is just part of the game, folks. Check them out, and if you're new to their channel, let them know Grey sent you, so they can at least see that this works. Hanging out with me, they're just not wasting their time. But all in all, great folks. Billy and Dee are awesome, and great people. I think you'll love their channel. And do you guys want to have any final thoughts?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say thank you. Thank you for having us on again, and thank you everybody for their support and all their nice comments.
Yeah, just be aware that sometimes I do get passionate about those type of things. I come from a place, of love. I don't want anybody to go through the same struggles that I already went through. So when you see me a little heated, a little spice up, and red, think that I do this for my country, and this is my country. So again, thank you all. Thank you all for checking us out. Thank you, Grey, for inviting us to your channel yet again. We definitely enjoy. And I think we're gonna have to drinking coffee today.
Yeah, it's been 8 months since I last had you on, man, and the last thing I tell everybody, and I think Rudy might have even mentioned this, and I think a lot of folks do, regardless of my political beliefs and the way I feel, you don't have to watch that specific content. I do have other relevant content that might be important to you, like gardening videos and food storage and food, that kind of stuff like that, and other prepping videos. Because I think if you're a Democrat, Republican, wherever you're at in the political realm, that doesn't matter. I just want everyone to be prepared, no matter who you are. You know what I mean? So you can be whoever you want to be and not agree with me. That's awesome. The thing is I hope that you get some value and education out of the other content that I produce, as well as Billy and D and other channels like ours.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, folks, I want to wish everybody a great day. Remember, folks, you are not alone. Billy and D, if you want to hang tight, because I always forget to tell people that and they disappear on me. But folks, you're not alone. I hope everybody knows that there's the entire community out there willing to help you guys out, as well as myself, folks like Billy and D, Alaska Prepper, who's hanging out and chat with us. God bless every single one of you folks. Stay safe out there, and we'll catch you on the rebound. Have a good night, folks.